What is up, people? So I was feeling ill today. Because of that, I should be fine now, but I didn't go to work today, so I'm not gonna bother putting the notification on Facebook and Twitter because I actually was sick, but it's just hard to explain to them in case they checked. So it's just like it's easier just not to for this time. It's nice to make my life less difficult, to be honest with you. Anybody who's watching this already doesn't care because they've already been watching if you're on Twitch, but all the same, I'll explain why it's not there. It is on Discord, and I posted a message in the Discord clarifying that I am, in fact, here. So today, I am starting a little early so I can do the patch review. I'll stop the video just so that video can be separate for YouTube. I'm just double checking that everything on my side is appropriate. It seems like it is, but you just never know, realistically speaking. So I was just like test a command, for example, because if my bot doesn't respond, then I know what happened, more or less. This light also should be on. So things like that I always forget, so it's nice that I can check. Turn that so I get less whitewashing. I think I'm good. Alright, this might take more than 15 minutes, but I'm hoping to kind of rush through it. I'm just going to text message in Furry. I'm sure he won't, but he might want to be part of the patch review to make sure that I keep on track. If not, that's fine. He can pull himself into Discord. He's quite capable. So, patch 7.22F is actually rather big. I probably should have given myself a couple more minutes, but whatever. What are you going to do? Consuming recipe for the Aghanim Receptor Blessing is 200 gold cheaper. This is obviously great for anybody whose Aghanims is important. It's also good for people who buy an early Aghanims and then get it as a slot efficiency, get rid of it later. So someone like Pugna who might need the Ags before he can get to the point of buying a Blessing, or picking it up from Roche, whatever. It's nice that he can get the slot efficiency for cheaper. I don't think it changes too much, realistically speaking, because, you know, I just don't see... I just don't see this changing the meta that dramatically, but it's nice. It was a really expensive recipe, so it's good. It's also easier for carries to get 8 slotted now, because they're 6 items. Aghanim's Blessing and Moonshard is now a 200 gold less to get everything, and I know it's only 200, but that still means they'll be online a little bit faster in that late game. Abaddon, one of my favorite changes, I'm going to be honest with you, because I like Abaddon. Base attack speed increase 5, that's pretty big, because of the fact that he has has to hit you 4 times to get his silence off with his passive, Curse of Avernus. So this means it's going to be easier for him to get that in lane. It's easier to last hit, deny, trade in general, even for small hits that don't proc. His armor also went up by 1. He now has base armor of 2, I believe, after all stats are taken into effect without any items bought. So if you buy like 2 Iron Branches like I did, he has armor of 3. So that's really nice. He can actually trade a lot better now. And it means that getting harassed by support is a little bit less punishing for him. It means that as like an offlane support, he's not so bad. As an offlane carry, same thing. Cold Feet distance to travel was reduced by 25. That means that it's easier to get out of that radius so that the Cold Feet debuff ends. This means it's going to do less damage as a general rule because people usually walk off Cold Feet when they can. In those times that they can, you're basically just getting damage until they get to it versus actually getting a stun off. So that means that they'll get less ticks of damage, meaning less damage overall. Example would be like, they might take 90 less damage now because they take 1 less tick at level 4 and that's 90 damage. So that's a pretty big nerf to AA. Ice Blast costs more. This just means that AA might have to actually buy mana regen items a little bit more seriously. Not tremendously so, but small. The talent for health regen got nerfed because, honest, there's almost no reason, back when this was 20, to ever take Ice Vortex cooldown. There's a couple niche cases, but other than that, health regen's too good. It keeps him in the fight forever. It's hard to kill him. He just becomes evasive after he throws Cold Feet. He just backs up. He's good. Primal Roar knockback now destroys any trees the unit comes into contact with. This is actually, I would say, a buff. The reason why is because it's annoying as Beastmaster to Primal Roar someone and have them go over a tree and the tree not get destroyed. So that could screw up a fight in theory to have them get a little bit of like, oh, look, I'm through the tree and they have a chance to run away from you. You just have to throw axes or something to get them again. But now it just destroys the trees in the first place. This could also create some interesting play with if you're fighting like an enemy Treant protector or something. It's nice because whoever you roar, you're kind of creating a small little cone where Treant can't walk in without revealing. So I think this is just nice. It's more quality of life than anything else. Bloodseeker is faster again. Remember that his Thirst also gives him move speed percentage-wise. So that multiplies again against this 5, so it's even bigger than it looks for this particular hero. He's speedy. This is a huge buff. Bloodseeker, like a right-click Bloodseeker build, is like super scary right now. I'm not saying he's broken, but the fact that he can chase you down at almost any stage of the game and successfully catch you is pretty big. Shuriken toss, mana cost. Dropped a frame a couple seconds ago. Dropped some frames. Why am I dropping frames? Get out of here. Don't you tell me I'm dropping no frames. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I wonder why. It's probably just an internet hiccup. I don't want to hear that all the same. Shuriken Toss is a little bit cheaper. This is a really big change for Bounty Hunter because one of the most expensive things he has is Shuriken Toss. Track is cheaper, as is Shadow Walk. So this being his most expensive spell, having it reduced means it's easier to level Shuriken and feel good about it. Because your mana to damage ratio is already much better. And as you level it, it's even better. So you actually might be able to afford to spam it a little bit more. I like this a lot. This is a really good change. Base didn't increase by 1 for Brewmaster. It's probably because his spells are very expensive. Ever since they gave him Cinder Brew as an active spell, he had more mana problems. Now that he has the extra int, it's going to help. But it's not going to fix the problem, but it's going to help. It's just nice because Brewmaster doesn't like to build a lot of mana regen items, unless you count like drums, for example. So it's going to help him in that regard. The Retaliate per stack. That's actually how it is. I had to double check this when I came back. Each time you get attacked, you get a counter. Can be cast to consume all charges, granting you a percentage base damage increase for 20 seconds. And attack damage per attack. Yeah, I mean, it should be the percentage times stacks. To my understanding, anyway. So, just having this nerfed at the late game means he's just not as effective as a right clicker. It doesn't really hurt his laning potential that much, but it's just a way to like kind of mean like Centaur's not supposed to be a right clicker, so it's like, okay, chillax Centaur, like you do damage with your spells, not so much your right click. So it's a pretty big nerf late game. Reality Rift cooldown was reduced early game. This is dramatic, actually. It makes me want to level Reality Rift a little bit earlier in the game because I can actually spam it a little bit while I'm chasing. Because you use it, now on cooldown for 14 seconds. They start running again. You stun. Maybe you get a 2-second stun, whatever. So you can probably get back to like 10 seconds or so. So if you're near your tower when you do this, you'll probably get it back. By the time you're like at their tower, pull them back again, stun them. It might be the difference between you getting a kill and you're not, basically. Base movement speed reduced by 5. Chen is slow. Well, slow-ish. And Divine Favor's active was increased in cooldown earlier. That's the one that allows allies to teleport to Chen, or Chen's creeps teleport to Chen. This hurts his early game pushing pretty dramatically because he needs to pull his creeps to him. This also, making him slower, makes him easier to gank when he is split pushing, because when he tries to run away, it's easier to catch him. It makes him worse in fights too, because he's kind of going to be caught out of position more. This is a pretty big nerf to Chen. I think it's because in the higher level play, like even above myself, is when Chen is going to really shine. So they really need to make him more in line with other heroes in that bracket. Hookshot stun is more front-loaded. It ends up at the same, but it's just a little better earlier. This just means that Clockwork at level 6 is a much more terrifying force. The extra 0.5 stun is pretty dramatic, to be honest with you, just because it's all boom. It makes it easier for him to cog you after he hits you too, because he has more time to get his spells down. Not that they're hard, but like you can get like positioned very particular if you want. Like you can take a step and like put it how you want it. I think it's really nice. Clockwork is not that strong of a hero right now, so I think maybe just making him a better hero earlier is going to change that. Why am I dropping frames? Get out of here. I don't get it. There's nothing wrong with my internet right now, or there shouldn't be. I mean, it's not dramatic. I'm just getting like a quick hiccup. I don't know what it is. My computer's been on for a little while, so it's not like it's like, oh, your computer hasn't been on. Like it's just loading up or something. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that maybe it'll just clear itself out. It could be Twitch too. It sometimes happens. It is Tuesday as well, which I know is DotA maintenance day, but it could also be a similar thing. And if I have too many problems, I might just like wait and see if my internet will stabilize. I'll see what happens. Crystal Maiden got another armor reduction. It's because she's really good at trading, just because of the fact that she has decent attack range and she has good spells to support it. Slow the enemy support's attack speed through your Q, Crystal Nova, and they can't really trade back with you effectively because they're attacking slower than you are. So this is a nice way to make her a lot more easily ganked and more easily harassed out of lane. I think that's fine. Vacuum actually does some more front-loaded damage. This is good because Vacuum didn't really have a big reason to be maxed or that points put into it early. And I don't think it's going to change that dramatically, but it's just nice to see that you can do a little bit more damage as he's hitting his mid-game. This is going to make him a lot much more contendable for us when he's about level 11 or so. I'm estimating, but around there. Because he's going to do more damage as a whole. Dark Willow Terrorize duration was reduced. It has to scale back up to 4. This is because having people run away for 4 seconds straight when they're hit with Terrorize completely denunciates for free. There's no question. There's no way they come back. So I know the 0.5 doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 0.5 less seconds you're running actively away. So that means you'll be closer to them when it ends, let alone the fact that they haven't run as far away during it. So since it's a two-way movement away, that means that you'll be just a tiny bit closer as a whole, which might be within blink range or something. I'm dropping like 9% of frames. This is crazy. I might have to restart. When I restart the stream, it might fix itself, actually, now that I think about it. At least I think so. You know what it might be, actually? No, it's not that. Never mind. I thought it might be the fact that my console thing was still loaded in, but it's not. I don't know. I thought my thing was plugged in. It's not. Huh. It's peculiar. I'll look it up by the end of the stream. I'll look it up right now. I could just do that. Is Twitch down? Because you can look that up really easy on Google. Twitch down? There's been some consistent problems throughout the last little while. Possible problems at Twitch. That's what it says. People aren't making comments right now, but people are reporting a small issue right now. Right around between 5 and 6, yep. So, sorry, it's not on my end. There's literally nothing I can do. I hope I'm just understandable. Because even if I, like, glitch around for a second, like, whatever. This is a big change. So, Dragon Knight's Ags actually isn't that great. Now it's better. Elder Dragon Form Scepter magic resistance is increased from 30% to 40%. 10% increased magic resistance on top of his base and on top of all the rest of it. I know it doesn't go additive, but whatever. Means he's even tankier than he was before. And considering his talents and the fact that you can get the 2x HP regen, armor, all that nonsense, build AC, you know, build heart, he can be like one of the ultimate tanks of the game. He's really hard to kill. And they increased his gold per minute talent at 20 from 180 to 210. So before, I probably would never have taken this. And I'm not saying 30 gold per minute is going to be like the break-even point, because 25 strength is really tempting. It's 25 damage, it's magic resistance, it's health. But the more gold you make it, the more tempting it is, right? If I'm behind at 20, I might take it now for sure. Drow has more strength, has more agility. Oops. I don't know why when I click it, it's being a jerk. I told Chuck to wait for me, but I feel bad now. Now I gotta rush. Speed it up, speed it up. Base strength, base agility, just one each. It's nice because it affects Aurora and stuff. She's tankier. Gust blinds up to 40. I might actually take that talent now. That's a really big blind. These are just mild buffs because of the nerf she got before to her ult. Echo Stomp mana cost was reduced at earlier levels. This makes Elder Titan really able to spam more often. With the Stomp itself, so I'd be more apt to max Stomp than I would be to max the Spirit. What's up, Chuck? I'm speeding through. Getting some issues with Twitch, too. Twitch is having problems with its frame rate. It's not me, though. It's the site. Base armor reduced by 1 on Ember. This means you're going to be a lot easier to kill him, early especially. So he's never really susceptible to magic damage because of his Flame Guard, but armor is a big deal. So now when you jump him while he's stunned by like a lion and you're a PA and you jump him and you try to kill him real quick, just that extra armor reduction is going to be, could be the difference between him dying and not. I don't think it's going to dramatically change the way Ember Spirit's played, but it's just nice to see that Ember Spirit is being brought back a little bit. Base Int reduced by 2 in Enigma. It's because the spell amp, the mana pool, the damage makes it too easy for him to farm the jungle, come out, throw spells down like crazy, off-lane push. You know, it makes him too good. I don't think this is going to nerf him too bad that he's not playable, but it's just nice to see that his damage, his last hitting to dying, all that is worse. Base damage and Grimstroke was reduced by 4. This is one of the most dramatic base damage reductions I've seen in a while. I think this is going to mean that Grimstroke is going to be a much worse support. 4 less for your trading, for your last hitting when your carry is gone, denying, You know, all that. Pushing even. This is a big deal. That's really painful for him. He's going to drop down significantly in, like, the best supports. He's still going to be good, but he's going to drop. Base int increased by 1 on Invoker. They just keep wanting to have better base int and better base damage. They've been doing this almost every patch. This is just nice because it's Spell Amp, Mana Pool, Mana Regen, damage. Cold Snap's damage also scales up better. It starts a little higher, then scales up to a whole 8 points per proc. So that's hit, 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 as long as you're getting hit by something. So this is going to actually add up to a lot of magic damage. Cold Snap is, I would argue, is now the best stun of the game. Not counting ultimates. Because, like, Feeds Grip, but, or, like, Reverse Polarity, but Black Hole. This is one of the best, like, regular ability stuns in the game. It's way too good. Base agility reduced by 2 on Jug. This is great. His last hitting, his speed, his armor, all that hurt dramatically. He lost strength too. He's very susceptible to being ganked now. Less armor, less health, less move speed. He doesn't even hit as much when he hits back. Will-o'-the-Wisp radius was increased by 25. I think they're just trying to make Will-o'-the-Wisp a good spell, but not break it. So they're trying not to touch like the flicker count, like the on-off duration. They just want to like make it better in other ways, and I think this is a nice way to do that. It just creates a bigger area of denial. And I think that was needed. I don't think Coddle's bad, but I think this is a nice change. Base damage increased by 2 on Luna. I think Luna is only played in certain combos right now because of her pushing capabilities. I think increasing her base damage is going to make her playable without some of those combos, making her a more universally okay hero. I like that. Feral Impulse damage increased. The percentage increased 2 at all levels. That's nice. He just does more damage, which is really cool. All his units do that too, which means the Necro creeps. It's pretty dramatic. Howl bonus regen went up too, so they're all going to regen a crazy good amount too. I think that this is a good change for Lycan. He's going to be more of a fighter, I think, now, versus a split pusher only. Base damage reduced by 2 on Mars. That's because Mars does too much damage and harasses too much in lane. In addition, the combo with God's Rebuke is strong, because obviously that multiplies it. They also nerfed God's Rebuke to hit that 10% at all levels. Of the crit strike, that makes it harder to just clear a wave or clear a jungle camp with it, in addition to the base damage being reduced. I think they just want Mars to be more about his positioning with his ultimate and using his abilities. He still can hit, but I think this was needed. He has too much range too. Waveform cast range was reduced at earlier levels, meaning it's easier to gank Morphling earlier, because now he can't just like jump out as far. He'll be a little bit closer when he jumps, meaning that you might be able to catch him with a stun. This is a really good change, and I love this a lot because Morphling is just too survivable in the early game. So every single hit they hit to his early game is going to be a good change. I don't think he needs to like be changed so dramatically that he's a different hero. Just like making him more gankable is going to be a nice spot. Morph cast range was also reduced at earlier levels, meaning it's harder for him to take the character he wants without being closer to them. Gain increase from 3.3 to 3.5. It's not a dramatic change, but Nature's Prophet will be a lot better at split pushing because of the damage he'll get. Fighting, same thing. Necro base int increase, I mean, that's a really big change. I know it doesn't seem like it, but the 1 damage in the Spell Amp and the Mana Pool makes me want to play Necro mid more. And Death Pulse radius was increased by 25, meaning it's easier to catch the enemy mid in your Death Pulse. Also hit your allies, all that. This is a really good change. I think Necro needed this to be better in lane. In general, like now he can just like he has such a presence when he's there because Death Pulse hits everybody. Night Stalker is faster. That was needed. It's also nice that he gets multiplied by his passive. I think he needed that to be back in the meta. He just isn't as great as he used to be. I like his AoE silence, but other than that, I don't really see him picked very often unless you need that, like against an anti-mage or something. So I like this a lot. It means he can be next to you with the silence for longer too, no matter how fast you are. Purification cooldown increased at earlier levels. That's all it really was, but it's going to mean that Omni is just a terrible offlaner. Honest, he's terrible. He can't heal nearly as often. It's a 3 second longer before he can heal all the other nerfs he got to it. His 20 talent mana regen got nerfed. I would probably take the 12% degen aura anyway, but definitely take it now, honestly. Like, he's just getting nerfed across the board. He's just not as great as he used to be. He's like niche pick when you need that ult. Astral Imprisonment cooldown was increased at all levels, 2 at all levels. It just means that he's not as safe. He uses Astral Imprisonment either to farb, to deny farb, or to save himself or put someone else out of position. Increasing the cooldown just means he can't do all of those things as frequently. So like now when he's running, he's going to have to wait an additional 2 seconds before he can Astral to stall for like a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger. And that 2 seconds could be the difference between a support getting their stun off or not. Sans Eclipse mana cost was increased at all levels. This is actually pretty dramatic because the 125 mana at max level means that he always has less mana when he's casting it, and that matters because OD does damage based on his mana pool with his orb. So now that he'll have less mana, he'll do less damage. And I know that doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it matters in the long run. That hurts. Base damage increased by 1 on PA, and remember that's actually 4.5 if she crits because of how her crit works. I like that a lot. Her health talent was buffed too. This is making her just a better character. I like the talent. I don't know if I would take it over damage, but maybe. Honestly, maybe. They're both good. I like this. Meat hook mana cost was reduced at other levels to make it less punishing when you miss a hook. This is nice for being I play Pudge. It's nice because he struggles with mana so early. It's his only ability that needs mana when he's roaming, but like it's a lot. It too when his mana pool's gone, so it's nice to see he can get a little bit back. Blink Strike cast range was increased at earlier at all levels, at 100 at all levels. This also, you know, commensurately they've reduced the talent by 100, so they front loaded 100 from the talent and threw it on him, meaning the talent isn't as important. And it also means early game Ricky can catch up easier. This is just nice. It's more quality of life. I like when they front load stuff from a talent onto the base hero, because you can still get the same total when you combine the two together, but you don't need the talent as much anymore. Mystic Flare damage was increased at all levels, well, earlier levels. It's minor, but it's just a nice way for Scarith Mage to Atos into kills. He's going to be a better mid now, too, because now a level 6 Scarith does 50 extra damage, plus the multiplication from his Silence. Arcane Seal, is that what it is? This is a pretty big change. I'm almost done, by the way, Chuck, because I've got a couple heroes left. So actually, I'll invite you. See if anybody else wants to be invited too. I'll send the invites out now, and then I'll worry about it after. Slark base damage reduced by 1. That's just nice. It makes him harder to last hit and deny Slark trade. I think he needed this. He's not that strong, but still. The Pounce Leash talent went down by 0.25, thank goodness. I just hated being pounced as an anti-mage or something, so it's nice to see I won't be as pounced as long in the late game. Bulldoze mana cost went up at all levels. This is because it's too good. It's a really good ability. So it's nice to see that it's more expensive because it's going to be harder for him to keep his mana up. Nether Strike also does less damage at earlier levels, making it harder for Spirit Breaker to kill you at level 6. It's not dramatic, it's only 20 at the level 6, but still, it counts. It matters. Sven's finally getting another nerf. His Stormhammer does less stuns earlier. I know it's only 0.15, but still. It's just less time that I'm stunned next to him and more time I can spend running away. Level 10 evasion on Terrorblade. They didn't even put talent in here. It's almost a typo because they didn't write it, but whatever, it's fine. Went up by 5% evasion, making it a much more tempting talent. I don't even remember what his talent is, so I'll have to look in a second. But I like that. That's really nice. It's a nice evasion talent. His Scepter Fear Duration went up by 0.75, making it a better Scepter. I like it more now. I didn't like it at 3, but 3.75 makes it a lot more tempting because now instead, that's a long time to be running away. Especially if he doesn't plan to move on the heroes he ults next to. So he can, like, move in, ult next to, like, the carries. And then move on the supports while the carries are running away, for example. I see this just having more combos now. Like Dark Willow. With Mars. Dark Willow has good combos with Mars, as does Terrorblade. Tinker. Some of the most controversial changes I've ever heard of. 100 cast range went to 125. So Tinker with a Blink Dagger can go farther now, meaning he's almost impossible to catch. The extra 25, plus the fact that most Tinkers by Aether Lens, huge. In addition, the range of a Scythe or something, even longer. Laser, longer, all that. Very annoying. Spell Amp went up by 2%. I think that's a pretty big change, too. I won't be able to watch it right away, but I will. I see a Pango 1v5 as the title, though. I'm pretty excited. May Falcon join me? Of course. Nice. Yeah, of course I will, Chuck. I always watch the videos people post, unless it's Drevel, because he always posts toxic cancer. Falcon might want to join later. So the spell amp it's nice. 2% extra spell amp is a pretty big deal. It's true though. I'm not lying, Chuck. That's what happens. They changed the spell lifesteal, which I would argue was the most useless talent on Tinker. Anybody who took the lifesteal was a lunatic, in my opinion. The gold was better. Not that he needed it, but it was just a better talent than lifesteal was. Now he gets 11% mana cost and mana loss reduction. So put that together with a Kaya, and now his mana cost reduction is really, really high. So this means he's not as easily countered by Anti-Mage, because the mana loss is what counts for someone like Nyx or Anti-Mage, who reduces your mana. He'll still get damaged when they hit him, but he won't lose as much mana for it. So that means it's harder to mana him out, and it also means he can spam more before having to go back to base, meaning he's more present in fights and stuff and pushing. Remember too, people forget this. This reduces the cost of ult, meaning that a Soul Ring with ult, is more beneficial. I believe ult costs 89. If you have like a Crystal Maiden and this and a Kaya Sanj or whatever, it's something ridiculous. Like it costs less than the Soul Ring, so you can actually get mana from the Soul Ring in theory. It technically goes away, whatever. The point is you can easily do what you got to do. Base armor increased by 1 on Tusk. I love Tusk, so I love to see it. Again, Underlord's getting buffed. Pit of Malice cooldown was reduced by 2 at all levels. That's so nice. It just means he's he's so present in team fights late game. 16 seconds for a pit that lasts 12 seconds. It's a downtime of 4 seconds, and you can make it like with his talent. It does it for so long when it roots you. Dark Rift cooldown was reduced at later levels by 10, 5 and 10. That's nice too. It just means he's more present. He can get there or get people out or move people to a different lane more often. Magic Missile costs less, 10 all through the game. That's really nice, especially since she got an int buff recently, so she can cast a lot. This means she's one of the stronger supports now, because she can cast, like, spam in lane. They realized the Nethertoxin Silences is too good, so instead of nerfing it, they said, let's just buff the damage by 40. 40 effing damage. Can you imagine 40 effing damage over what it already was? Viper right clicks you, already doing 200, maybe like 210. Oh, let's just slap 160 on there. Viper's hitting you for 400 a shot, not counting any of the debuffs like his poison attack or anything. This is ridiculous. Viper is going to come back in a hard way, I think. This is so big. Base armor increased by 1 on Weaver. This just means he's harder to kill by right clickers. He usually dies by magic damage anyway, in my experience, but it's nice that he can trade better. Mortal Strike mana cost increased. That's summoning skeletons, by the way. That's what that is. It didn't increase dramatically. It's just a way to make mana, Wraith King more mana dependent. Whatever. The damage on Wraithfire's base damage went down at earlier levels. It has to scale back up, meaning it's even less useful for killing early, meaning he's an even worse safe laner, because I know I complain about that all the time. Zeus got a base increase of 1. That's nice for Zeus, because he's one of the most, like, mana intensive, spell intensive heroes. So I don't want to dwell on this too much, because I want to play with my guys, Chuck and Thor and everybody, but in general, a big thing to consider here is, a lot of heroes got buffs, mostly. The ones who got nerfs are the heroes who are more abusive, like Centaur, for example. But these are mostly buffs just to make heroes that weren't played as much, played more, and the ones who were played in more circumstances. Like, that's what I'd say about, like, Necro. The Death Ball of Radius, for example. It just makes him more viable. But I know, right? I am going to end this video and start my actual Dota stream. So for all of you on YouTube, this will be the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for watching. Those of you on Twitch, give me about 2 minutes. 3 minutes maybe. I gotta pee. See you guys next time.